Hello, welcome to this new park building series. We're going to build on the Square New California map. This is going to be called Jurassic World Evolution 2 World Park. We're going to build a park like a zoo, themed after different places in the world. We're going to have the continents with dinosaurs from those continents and different themes. Today we're just going to be building the entrance section. So here I'm going to go through the sandbox settings. We're going to do ideal settings. Dinosaurs don't need any food. We already have scientists. It's a sandbox park. Um, this build will probably be quite a long series. Um, I'm expecting there will be quite a lot of parts, considering each continent will probably take 2 parts. Um, and of course, well, there's 7 continents, plus this entrance area, which is just this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this series. Alright, here I'm going to load in. You can see the sandbox settings I'm doing. Money, daytime. Alright, let's start. I'll be quiet for this intro. Still loading. Okay, here we go. Alright, so you can see just how huge this new map is. Yeah, it's absolutely gigantic compared to previous maps. I'm just going to do a little bit of path work for the entrance area. I don't like to do too much decorative path work, but, as you know, guests can't see the stuff from above. But I do definitely like to mix up the colors, do some unique things here and there. So I'm just building a little circular area here, the um, entrance area, which we're building with the Jurassic World era buildings. Since I'm on console, I only have one building era. I know that this building confuses people because people say like, "Oh, how do they get there?" I like to pretend this is a subway, and way outside the park, there's a entrance to the subway, and you write it here, and that's how the guests get to the park. I'm gonna do a little courtyard area here. I think I'll use a Jurassic World gate, but first I'm going to line this with the cheat path, which this gives a really nice effect that I like to use. And then inside the courtyard, yeah, I'll put the Jurassic World gate. I'll probably put some tables and chairs later. I'm just going to build this whole area and then decorate afterwards. Um, and you saw me place some path behind the entrance building. I'm going to put a line of shops back there. This circle is kind of tricky to get in the center. As you can see, I placed it up here. And then I decided that I was going to do it this, which is a good way to put circles on either edge. And then, bam, you get it right in the center. And for some reason, I couldn't get this to lock onto the center. So it's not centered, but fine. I think I fixed it the second time. And there we go, that's close enough. Okay, so, each area, they need a restroom because obviously they just rode the subway there and they're carrying all their luggage. They probably, want to put it down. We're also going to have a hotel section separate from any of the continents. It's going to be the first stop on the monorail tracks. Well, there'll be 2 hotels because I'm going to put 2 monorail track entrances. So that's what we're going to do there. Sorry about that. Sometimes it's hard to get the path symmetrical on either side. The staff center here, I know it's actually a facility building, but I think it looks nice as a guest building. Let's see, will this fit? Nope, it's not gonna fit. Why is it changing to nighttime? You guys saw me put it on day-night cycle, right? Sorry, not day-night cycle, just daytime. Okay, so I'm gonna stretch the path across here to make it fit equally. Alright, so there's our buildings. I'm going to put some mountains around the outside and cover them in forest because each area in this park is going to be isolated from one another. It feels like they're farther apart than they are. Kind of like in Jurassic World when you ride the monorails to places. Why is the park open? I don't know. And I'm hiding the back of this shop with the fence because it doesn't look great for the guests. Which sometimes that's not a problem, but here I just want to do this. Yeah, I use the concrete fence a lot, and I couldn't get this here to latch on right. It took a couple tries to get it right. I had to move the mountain a little bit. I never like to have the fences on not flat terrain, except for the very weakest fence, because it looks wonky for the concrete reinforced fence just to be moving like that. Okay, here I'm gonna put some trees in between these areas. I just think that looks good. And sadly, since I'm playing on console, I don't have the individually placeable trees on all biomes, so we're just have the taiga trees. But I'm gonna do my best to recreate different environments with the different continents. Here, let's see. Yeah, so I'm just placing some trees. Alright, we're gonna start decorating. Lots of planters and lots of lights. I always try to make sure my parks are well lit up at night. I don't think I did super well with this build, but, you know, it's nighttime half the time, and guests have to be able to see. Sadly, we don't have the floodlights on this building set. They're one of my favorite decorations. I'm just gonna put a fountain in here. Some tables. I don't know why you'd really sit down here because there's seats at the restaurant, but, you know, you always just place some tables. Alright, here we go. I started to place these bamboo poles, but I didn't like that. So I'm going to try something that I don't actually usually do. I'm using the smallest taiga rock, and I'm lining the path with that, which I actually really liked, but I've never done that before. This took quite a while. This footage is on 400% speed. So it's a little slow, but of course, so is just placing decorations. Yeah, I randomized all the rotation so it doesn't look like the same rock over and over again. And I think I'll use this some more in the park. Different continents are going to have different rocks, of course. And at first I tried to sink down this exhibit here, but I changed my mind. We're going to use Krylophosaurus for that exhibit, by the way, because it's from Antarctica. And even though we're building Antarctica in the park, that's going to be the facility section, and we're keeping the hybrids. And I didn't want to use a dinosaur specific to a singular continent, so that's why we're using Krylophosaurus here. Because it doesn't fit in any of the other continents. Here we go, a little river. And you know, there's some stuff that doesn't make sense in this park from above, but the guests aren't seeing it from above. It doesn't matter as long as you can't see it. It's kind of like how Disney World works. A lot of stuff is... That sounds... doesn't sound right. But everything's, that you can't see is off the path. Everything's blocked in. And I try to cover up as much of the path as I can because, you know, they don't want people to just walk off into the woods. So everything's blocked in. I'm building a thick wall of individually placeable trees, which the taiga trees are great for doing. Just sort of encasing this area. There's the fluffy bush. And I'm using these rocks again to, for this courtyard here. They have a little big hitbox. I think I would like to have them a lot closer to the path. But that's okay. I'm gonna put a snow texture and some prehistoric plants. Looks okay. Alright, here we go. I like using these decorations to make little walls, because the only solid wall we can create is using the concrete fences, which, for console players, well, old-gen console players, you can only use that on a single building set anyway. Alright, putting some trees in here. And yeah, that's really annoying that we don't have better walls. Even I like just like a wooden panel wall. Hopefully we'll get that eventually, but of course I see why it would be hard to make like a low fence because I have to create new animations for every dinosaur to break them. But they could sneak that in as a decoration, kind of like how they did with the Malta wall piece, the low wall piece. which that is my favorite decoration. And in one park that you'll see in a tour video eventually, I used over 900 of those wall pieces in a single park. So here we go, just a viewing gallery. It's really, I'm not gonna use the same I'm gonna use the same attractions as few times as possible. Um, I'll use, you'll see here. Um, 1 second. I'm gonna use my favorite tip for fences, using the minimum length segments. Gives it this really reinforced look. On here, you can see I stretched the weak fence across the water, because when you put fence across the water, it sort of dips into it, and it doesn't look like it makes any sense for the concrete fence. So whenever I have to put it through the water, I just use the weak fence, and I think that looks a lot better. So here we go. These two spots are going to be sort of bridges. Obviously, we can't build actual bridges. And this enclosure here is going to be really uneven in the end. I'm just going to sort of stretch it across, but it doesn't matter that it's uneven, because it's going to be completely blocked off from guest view. Alright, so here I'm replacing every other segment with these pieces of fence that guests can look into, slightly weaker fences. And I also like the look that creates. This isn't a super high security exhibit. It's just Dilophosaurus, medium carnivore. But, you know, security is important at our park. I'm still, for the story behind this park, I always try to make a story to make it sort of make sense. I'm gonna say the story for this park, in Jurassic World, in this universe, it didn't fail. Jurassic World, they recaptured the Indominus, or didn't make the Indominus, or whatever. Or no, because we're gonna have the Indominus in Antarctica. They recaptured the Indominus, and Jurassic World was allowed to open again as long as it was illegal to create hybrids. And we're gonna have like the Indominus Gen 2 in Antarctica. And in our tour, it'll be like, ooh, that secret project. They're not allowed to do that. Alright, so here's the monorails. They're gonna take us to every other part of the park. So yeah, and as I was saying, what was I saying before? I was talking about the Indominus. Yeah, the story. So, obviously, Isla Nublar is 30 square miles. Eventually, Jurassic World's going to fill that up. So, and also they wanted a location closer to home. So this is Maserati's second location. It's a zoo, a little bit north of, it's California, but it's north of the big cities, almost in Oregon. So it's a little bit out of the way, but it's not like, what's the word? It's not remote. People can get there more easily, and I'm not going to open the park until most of it's done, which is going to be kind of realistic. Because they wouldn't. And something I'm going to do, you'll see later, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to have a under construction exhibit, because, you know, the park's never done. They're always expanding. I don't know how they're going to expand a park themed after continents. There's no, well, I guess they could just keep expanding it, but here I'm placing some trash cans, these new decorations. They don't look shiny. It's not the word. You know what I mean. They don't look modern. They don't really fit in Jurassic World, but it makes sense to have trash cans. So I'm going to use that. I'm kind of sad that they replaced the supplies pile, because I used those decorations so much. Now in my other save files, there's just going to be facility zones filled with garbage cans. I wish they'd just given us a new decoration instead of replacing it. But here we go. I'm making these bridges. I didn't put a ton of work into these bridges, or this area in general, really. It was a pretty quickly built zone, but you can see the river curves away, which I really like. So here we go, just some planters. And the monorails, I like to make a queue sort of lineup, because it's a long line to get into that, probably. I didn't do that too much here. Alright, here we're just going to place our hatchery. Of course, you can place multiple buildings, arrival points, as long as you select it. Those are the two modifications I always add, by the way. The, not just the additional bays, but there's also one that speeds it up even more. Alright, so here we go. And let's tour what we've built. I'm going to hop into first person view. And we'll look at this entrance area from... Why is the park open? I closed that, didn't I? Okay. Alright, first person view. Oh, I'm still on ×3 speed. Oh well. There's the shelter. I feel like the shelter would make them feel even less safe. So we're gonna pretend that that's doubles as a ticket office. It's like a guest help area. This on the staff center over here could be like a food court or something. Yeah, actually like that food court. There's also guest help in there. All right, and I try to block off the electric fences always because you don't want people to be allowed to touch the electric fences. That's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. Um, so yeah, let's take a look at our Prilophosaurus. It's a really simple exhibit, but I like it. Um, yeah, that's gonna be our only dinosaur this episode. There's not much more to do for this area, and I don't want to start the next continent till next episode. Let's look at this in cinematic camera view. Which, if you didn't know, there's the new update. You can see my video on that, which included this. Um, yeah, I'm saying way too much. But if you like the series, if you want to see the rest, like the video, subscribe to the video. We're gonna start South America in the next episode, and yeah, there's a lot more to come. I'll also occasionally be giving tours of some of my other save files. Thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed.